How do you get your business off the ground when you're feeling stuck? What should you do when you think I need motivation, I need confidence, and I feel like I'm lacking in those things? How do you get yourself up and running? Tonight's session is the Q&A session that follows on from the session that we had a few days ago. And I'm here to answer your questions. So if you're live in the Zoom chat, then please put your questions in the Q&A. But we're going to do it with a bit of a twist this evening. If you would like the opportunity for some live coaching, type the word coaching before your question, and I want you to phrase the thing that you want to do as the thing that you'd like us to explore together is how can I? Okay, so you type the word coaching, then you type the words how can I, and then, when you think about the stuff that you really would like to bounce off me this evening, if you type the word coaching before it, then we can have a little conversation. If you're up for that, if you're feeling brave. By the way, you all look beautiful, so you don't have to worry about going live on the thing. I know some of you are going, do you know what? I really do want to ask a question, but the idea of going live on YouTube whilst I ask that question makes me want to stick forks in my eyes. And I understand that. But I have to do it every week, twice a week for 2 hours. So if I'm doing it, you can do it. So I'm going to make that invitation to you. If you think, actually, no, the pull of the forks in my eyes is too strong, I don't think I want to go live on the thing, that's also fine. Just don't type the word coaching in the chat, and then I won't pick on you. But I will answer your question as best I can, with either directly or with the help of the Rebel team. We've got Herman, we've got Anna Maria, we've got Grace, and we've got Ewan. Between us, we can figure it out, folks. Does that sound all right? That's what we're going to do this evening. I've got some bits of information for you, and I've also got a bit of an insight into what's happening on Monday with the Donegans. So Alan took me through the slides last night. He wanted to show me what he was planning on doing before we go live on Monday. He trusts my judgment, apparently. And my goodness, are you in for a treat? The words that came up to me, folks, were, buckle up, Dorothy, we're going to Kansas on Monday night. That was the thing that came in my mind when I saw the stuff. So he has put in a shift to do his best to give him and Katie to give their support. She's also been working super hard on this stuff. Okay, let's have a look. We've had a few questions that have been submitted over the email as well, so I'll dive into those. Me too, Tracy. I saw your comment. Tracy says I need makeup. So do I. I understand what you're feeling, but I ran out. So you get what you get. Okay. Sonia, senior questioner. That's great. I know that's marketing, Caroline. And what I was doing then, I was marketing. You know that thing of when people get you really excited about something without actually telling you what it is in any particular detail. But what I just did then was a verbal version of the why, what, how. If you remember back to the session that I did with Laura in week 5, when we started to explore using digital tools for marketing, that why, what, how structure was about me saying, I could have said to you, well, on Monday evening at 8 o'clock, Alan's going to switch on his computer and he's going to go through something called logical levels. And as he takes you through logical levels, you're going to get an insight as to where the bits of your life. This is how most businesses do marketing. Most new businesses, they're telling you what it is. They're not telling you why. Like halfway through that sentence, most of you picked up your phone and started scrolling. And if you didn't, you're being very kind. See, Annette was like, oh, I don't know what he's talking about, so I'll just have a drink from my hot chocolate. Right, my whatever it is. You got tea or hot chocolate, Annette? Tell us what it is. I understand that, Caroline. Me too sometimes. Maybe it's just because it's Thursday. Caroline says I'm definitely lacking some pizzazz. I understand. So if you're watching on YouTube, please type your questions in the comments. Hello, YouTube. Click like and subscribe to help get our videos in front of more people, because all of the business advice, information, inspiration, maybe some practical help, whatever it is that we deliver, it's constantly free. And we will never charge you anything. We will never upsell you anything that you don't need, right? So let's get the help that people need in front of as many people as possible. Okay, so just looking at the chat. Good evening, GW Studios 343. How lovely to see you. And I've seen Magic Mind's question about starting a hair salon business. So I will dive into that in a moment. As you can see, I hang out in those regularly. Okay, Julie, please type in the chat what's in the mug. The whole of YouTube wants to know, and so does Zoom. Okay, so let's dive in, folks. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Can you see? No, you can't. Well, if you can, I don't want you to. Let's try that again, everybody. This is exciting, isn't it? I'm a professional. That's better. Okay. So welcome to this evening's session, the Q&A session. Let's get going. Right, first I want to mention about the live events that we've got at the Rebel Business School. If you would like to come and see us live, if you go to our website, therebelschool.com, and you can either click the button that says join the course, or you can put /events if you're feeling typey, and join that link, and then you can see where we've got events around the country. We've got the ones that are coming up very soon are in central London and also in Scotland. So have a look at those events. And then a special thing, you might have seen the post on Facebook that I put in a couple of days ago. This is about convening free events. Like, we're going to just lift the lid on some of the tactics that we use and some advice that if you guys, firstly, if you're interested in organizing Rebel meetups, which we're trying to get this thing up and running. We've had a few goes at it over the years. We would like you to be able to meet up and support each other in person. I'm going to give you some information as to how we do it, a little bit of the tech involved, how we organize free events, how to get a free venue. And then you can use that for your own business as well as organizing Rebel meetups. And if you can tell us where you're doing them, then we can get where we can. We'll get the Rebel team, including me, to show up. We're going to figure out which ones make sense. So we are going to sort of do a Rebel on tour thing. So I'm inviting people that are interested in organizing Rebel meetups and becoming some leaders for us, with us, to help engage the community face to face and see actual human beings in real life rather than a collection of rectangles. Then I'm going to run that session on Tuesday evening, live UK time. We will record it and make that available. But if you can join us live, find the link in the support group, drop an emoji in the comments, and I'm going to circle back with a link to that so you can join if you're interested. I understand, Carol Ann, but I made a career out of it, so don't worry about that. And then we'll dive into the questions in a second. Quick reminder about case studies. We've had a load of case studies in, and thank you so much for those people that have done it. therebelschool.com/my case study. If you think, do you know what? I want to share my story and I want to get my business in front of the Rebel audience, we've got those opportunities for you as well. Okay, so let's crack on with the small print. I know this is the bit that everyone gets excited about, so, or not, maybe, I don't know. Safe space. This is a safe space. We want to keep this a safe space for everybody, so please continue to help me and the Rebel team to do that by keeping the comments appropriate and supporting each other and being positive where we can. Business is not a competition. We don't compare pineapples. We're all starting in different places, and it doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you start. And remember, it's a buffet course. You don't have to do all of the stuff. Herman made the point this evening that we throw lots of information at you. You don't have to do it all. You choose the bits that make sense to you now and ignore the rest and put it in a folder marked maybe later. You get out what you put in. We call it a refrigerator course. So those people that are here with your cameras on, contributing, you will be getting the most out of this course. The people on YouTube that are watching, engaged, putting the phone to one side and staying focused, you will get the most out of the course when you interact with us. As you noticed, I do tend to talk a little bit too much sometimes. So this is more of a message to me than it is to you. But just a reminder, if you feel like stuff's getting a bit much, you can breathe. Just breathe. Breathe it out, and then we can move on with life. Multitask at your peril makes it super overwhelming. A quick note about multi-level marketing. We don't allow that in the Rebel community because we want to keep it as a space where people feel like they're not going to be sold to. Okay. Neurodiversity is something that we care very deeply about. The course has been designed by and for people with neurodiversity. If we get it wrong, if you have some insights to share with us, then please let the Rebel team know. And if you don't like the content of this course, you can get your money back. If anyone's paid money for this course, things have gone seriously wrong, because it's been sponsored by these lovely people: Camden Council, South Ribble Council, Chorley Council, Bridgend Council in South Wales, West Berkshire Council, Uttlesford on behalf of North Essex, and Brent Council have bought this and sponsored our programme for their residents, and they've allowed us to open it up so that their residents get support, but they also get to join a community of people starting businesses across the world. Hello to the future. Hello, people from New Zealand, if you're here. Hello, the Americans. I've had some nice messages from the Americans, and it's lovely to see everybody here from all over the place. Please, can you type in the comments whereabouts in the world you are so I can calibrate you, and we can have conversations about me judging you for where you live. How about that? Alex, you're back in Cornwall. What are you doing there? Shropshire, New Zealand, amazing. Swansea, Pontypool, lovely. Guildford, West Ealing, Oxford, West Berkshire, love it. Alliston, Canada, very good, Ellen, that's amazing. And York, one of my favourite cities in the country, York, Michaela, that's amazing. Great stuff. Stamford, just up the road, Nicola. California, says Gwen. Great. Oh, Nicola, whilst you're here, if you want me to do the review of the websites, your two websites live, then you can stick the links in the Q&A, and I'll do it live this evening. I haven't forgotten you. Very good. So, and obviously the Londoners are here. Wet and windy Newbury, Sean, very good. Right, should we get going? Let's get on to the next bit, folks. The Donegans aren't coming. I'm going to go back to some questions this evening. Let's do this one. What I would like to ask the community, actually, is that this one I can't answer because I haven't come from the US. Has anyone got recent, since Trump, experience in working from the UK to the US with visas and tax and insurance, and how that works with the IRS versus the British tax system and all that kind of thing? Does anyone in our community have the answer to that question? If so, please type it in the chat and we will line you up. That isn't something that I can answer directly. And if we can't source the answer from the community, then we'll find an answer. The second question that I've got is from someone that is asking to review the bio, which is fabulous. Please view my bio on Insta. It says, humanistic therapist in Sussex, outdoors, in my beach hut, online or telephone, gain clarity, connection, live a more meaningful life, MBACP qualified. What do you think, folks? If you saw that on Insta bio, does that pass the marketing test? I'm always looking at whenever I look at any piece of marketing, right? This is a clue for you guys. If you show me a website page or an Instagram bio or any social media post or a flyer, a business card, a face-to-face pitch, a presentation, a website landing page, I always go through the 4 elements of the gift. Do you remember the gift from the marketing stuff? I'm going to post it in the chat here. Whenever I'm reviewing stuff, this goes through my mind. The G, does it get my attention? Okay. Now, what's interesting about this is that this business owner has started with the words humanistic therapist. They've started with what it is, not why I should buy from them. Okay. Now, look, it's a really short bit of text, so I'm going to get super granular on this. Do you want me in this picture, Sarah? I'm going to get super granular. Look, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't actually matter that much because it's a short piece of text anyway. But what I would say is the thing that's most interesting to the customers is not that you're a humanistic therapist, in my humble opinion, because I don't know about you, but I don't know what that is. There's a therapy element to it. The fact that you do therapy for humans is a win. If I need therapy, I am a human, but I don't really know what that is. That's telling me what it is to a point, but it's not telling me why I need it. So actually, I think to me, the most interesting part of this bio is the middle bit, which says gain clarity, connection, and live a more meaningful life. That's what I'm actually buying. I'm not buying a humanistic therapist. Does that make sense, folks? What do you think? So when you look at your bios, I think, you're right. The beach hut does sound good. I saw somebody write that. That's very good.
Um, who is it who put that? I can't see, that's gone so fast. Oh, Tracy, head of Rebel School in Pontypool. Tracy says, I love the idea of a beach hut. Me too. But the reason I'm going to buy from this person is not because they've got a beach hut where therapy happens. What I'm going to buy from them is because I need more clarity in my life. I want to live a more meaningful life. That's the reason why someone's going to hire you. So that's my thoughts on the bio. And I would say also, there is something that I wanted to talk to you guys this evening about, which is some kind of value add that doesn't cost any money that you can use to magnetize your customers and clients to a buying place, right? So what do I mean by that? When I look at this bio, does it compel me to click? And I would say the answer is probably no. But if we switched it around and gain clarity, connection, live a more meaningful life in a beach hut in Sussex, humanistic therapist, MBACP qualified, I think I would sort of rearrange the words slightly different order. And then if there was a video or a guide or some kind of download that you could get from my website that's free, link in the bio, click, and I would refer to it in this text. Right now, what we're doing there is we're getting people off of Instagram to a place where that you can start to take control of your list. Because at the moment, when that person follows you, the list is owned by Mark Zuckerberg and co at Meta. It's not your list. What I like to do is compel people to click by giving them some value add first. The tactic in marketing is called the outrageous free offer. Like when someone reads the free offer, they go, wow, that sounds really good. Right. And it's a way of getting people to try you out before they have to part with money. Now, it's not necessarily something for every single business owner. Some of you guys don't need it. So, for example, if you're selling, I don't know, maybe it's, I saw someone that was doing bookmarks, handmade bookmarks and stuff. You sort of go, well, what's the free offer for the bookmark? Because it's a low value purchase. We just need someone to go, I really like the look of those bookmarks. The clicking of the link is straight to the place where they can buy it. That might be directly on Instagram, or it might be on a marketplace like Etsy or something, right? But what I want you guys to think about, I want you to push you guys to think about is what's the value add that I can give my customers for free that doesn't cost me any money as a business owner, but adds massive value to them. Okay, so in this business, the humanistic therapist, what I love about this is maybe there's a video, maybe there's 10 ways to gain clarity, download. That it's a PDF, that's a collection of words and pictures. It's a free ebook. Similar one for, think about it for our favorite GOAT author, Richard. So with this, is there a free training course? Is there a free download? Is there a mini version of the book, or is there 12 principles to get yourself out there and try something, right? So, but it's something like I just get the chance to try something. Now, what that does is there's a value exchange immediately. There's something psychological about, now I've given you value for free, and if I like it, I'm now interested to know more. So we can use that tactic to get our customers to give us an email address, for example. Can you see what I mean? So I think for those of you that have got something where there is value to be added, then that's what I want you to think about. If I refer to it in the bio, put the link in the linky bit on Instagram, and then we're good to go. So the steps in the process, they sound a bit like this. You come up with an idea of a free video or course or download or guide or ebook. You stick it on your website and you get people to send you an email address, and then you'll send them the thing out. You don't worry about automation yet because it's just an experiment. There's no point automating something if you've got no one visiting your website. You can do it manually to start with. When you get the first few, just do it manually. I'm excited when I get an email from somebody that's wants the free course, I reply to them straight away and go, hey, Jeff, how's it going? I see you want the free course. Here's the link. Let me know what you think. I can do that. The first sort of 10, you can do personalized. You don't need to automate it until it becomes a problem. So you're like, I'm getting all these emails. Great. Now we'll automate it. That's how I would approach it, folks. Otherwise, you're going to spend the next 6 weeks trying to automate something that you don't know if it works yet. So we're in mini experiment territory, remember. Okay. Where did I get to? Oh, yeah, the gift. Let's go back to the gift. So when I'm reviewing any marketing, does it get my attention? The G. Is it interesting? The I. Do I get an emotional connection? Do I feel like I want something? That's what the free value add, the outrageous free offer tactic does. It's like, oh, you want your customers to go, oh, that sounds good. That's linked to what it is that you're selling. And then does it compel me to take action? The T, the gift. So whenever I'm reviewing any marketing, I'm always looking at it in the gift. And I'll do that with you guys this evening. We'll do it together. Okay, right. Let's pause that for a sec. Very good. I'm just going to catch up on the comments, folks. Well, I mean, you know, Caroline, when you said, Caroline says, oh, Lord, this means I need to reword mine for sure. Well, what you can do, Caroline, if you're feeling bold, is whilst we're on the call this evening, instead of listening to my voice, you can have a go at rewording it and sticking it in the chat and we'll have a look. If you're feeling bold. Head of pet photography in Shropshire, I believe. So let's have a look. Let's see you again. I teased you with the gift. That's marketing. I said, well, I've got this one tool. This is marketing, right? This is the why, what, how. As an example, this one tool that I use every single time I look at any marketing to tell you if it's any good, and it's called the gift. Would you like to know what it is? You know, it's that I haven't told you what it is. I've told you why you want it first, and the proof is in the chat because this Mel C's gone. What was the gift then? And Catherine also. What was the gift again? What's that? I made you want to know it. Okay, for those of you that have posted in the chat, I'll do my best to capture the coaching things. But if you stick it in the Q&A as well, we increase the chances that I'm going to see it, because I'm a little bit concerned that that I'm going to miss it otherwise. So, okay, let's have a look. Great stuff. Right, I'm going to do a couple more that were sent in, and then I'm going to dive into your questions that are here, guys. Some great questions in there. You put me under pressure tonight, aren't you? Whew. Going to earn my cash tonight. Okay, this question. When to tell my full-time employer that I'm going to start my own business? Oh, I like that question. Right, folks, if this is of interest to you, please type that in the chat, or if you're on YouTube, stick it in the comments. If you would like to know the answer to this question, like how do you navigate an employer when you're wanting to start your own business, just let us know in the chat. Okay, because there's a few of you there. Okay, excellent. I get it. Now, there's a few things in play here, folks, when it comes to navigating this one. There's a few things in play. The first thing that goes through my mind is the contractual thing that's in play. Okay, there's a contractual element to this, which is, am I allowed to continue with my day job? Do I want to continue with my day job? And is there anything in my contract about starting a business that I'm not allowed to do? I think like going into the conversation, knowing what your contract says. And if your contract says you can't, that doesn't necessarily mean it's over. It just means that you know when you're going into a conversation with the boss is that, hey, look, I know this is in my contract, but I've been thinking about it and here's what I want to do and here's why. So that's the first thing. Let's make sure that legally you coming from a place of knowledge. Okay. The second thing that goes to my mind, and I'm going to do this because there's going to be different issues for different people. So I'm just going to give you as comprehensive answer as I can. And remember, it's a buffet. You choose the bits that are relevant to you and the bits that aren't. And actually, if this isn't the situation that you're in, folks, some of the parts of the answer are relevant to most people, because I'm going to talk about runway in terms of cash, and I'm also going to talk about passion and the investment of time, right? So there's lots of issues that are relevant to everybody, but I'm going to look at it through the lens of being employed. So number one, what's my legal situation? Number two, what's the emotional situation? So what is my relationship like with my boss? You know, how are they likely to react to that? Thirdly, I think this is really important. It's linked to number two, which is around to ensure that the business that you're wanting to start, number one, is not in conflict with your employer. Because if you want to stay employed, that would be a fast way to get unemployed, my suggestion would be. All right. So in making sure that it's non-competing. And also we got to think through, when I'm having that conversation with the boss, what is the likely impact on my day job? So there's the competition bit. Let's make sure we're not competing, but also, can I make them confident that I'm not going to turn up to work tired, that it's not going to negatively impact my day job in some way? So I think how I would do that is, my approach would be to, I'm not going to tell them that that's what I want to do. I'm going to enroll them in the idea. Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, get them bought into your why. Now, what's going to happen on Monday is that we're going to do some more work on that with Alan and Katie, right? So part of the session that they're doing is about vision and purpose, which is a really fancy way of saying, what do I want my life to look like? And for what reason? What does it give me? And that's the stuff that they're going to talk to you guys about on Monday in some more detail. But if I'm going to have a conversation with my boss, by the way, use the same tactic for your partner, for your kids, for your family, the ones that, you remember the thing from the other day with the thumb, right? The ones that are perhaps a little bit on the negative side about what you're trying to do. It's because we haven't enrolled them in the journey yet. Okay. And Roseanne said I wouldn't tell a thing until I could resign. I totally understand that. We've been making different decisions for different reasons. Some people want to stay in employment. Some people are thinking, I need to leave as soon as possible, preferably last year. But since I don't have a time machine, I need to time it right for when my personal circumstances are in play. And I can bear that in mind as to, when to go. And I think that's an important consideration. So if you are wanting to leave your job, then the next part of this equation is, what's the runway? So how long have I got before I run out of money if I pay my bills? Okay. And I think there's a if you're able to stay in work and able to have a conversation with the boss, whether you want to reduce your hours or change your hours or not, if you can, great. And in my experience, I've started a business a number of different ways. I've jumped off of a financial cliff twice, where I've left a job and gone all in. I've done that twice. I've also done a part-time thing, so I've reduced my hours and I've done a business on the side. And I've also been able to keep my day job and then worked on my business behind the scenes. There's not really a right or wrong way of doing it. What I do know is that the first version, the jumping off of a financial cliff version, is choppy. But I learned a lot. That's one of the reasons that I end up doing the Rebel School. I'm like, don't do the same things I did. You can make new mistakes. And then you can ring me and tell me and go, Simon, I made a mistake. Okay, great. So these are the considerations. There's a legal consideration, emotional consideration. We need to think about enrolling the boss in the job. How do we do that? Well, we say to them, here's what my dream is. I've always wanted to do this. Or this is a good one. This is a fun one. The money that I get paid from this job, because of the cost of living crisis, is not enough for me to meet my bills, right? So the thing that I know that I'm really good at and that I really enjoy doing is X, whatever the thing is, humanistic therapy, for example. And if the thing that I really do is humanistic therapy, and it's got nothing to do with any of the clients or customers, I'm not going to be talking to any of the customers of this business, but this is in my heart. And I really need to find out for myself if I can make this work. And at the moment, honestly, I don't know, but I've got to try this. Please, can you help me? Which is very different to,
I'm starting a business and I don't care what you think, which I've also heard on the other side, right? So I don't know if I can do that on YouTube. I just did it. Um, so so can you hear the language? And did you notice my tone of voice change, right? When I'm enrolling somebody in a thing, whether it's a partner, friend, kids. I never did this conversation with my ex. It was maybe that's why she's my ex. I never did this conversation. It's like, well, looks like I'm starting a business then. And she was supportive. It was like, okay, but I never really did the why. I never really, it just kind of happened. I don't ever remember having the conversation, which is a bit bad. That's my bad. So for those of us with loved ones around us, parents, my mum, amazing, and occasionally she'll say, can't believe you left the police. That was such a promising career that you had. And like, mum, it was 2003. It was 22 years ago. We've got a business in 11 countries. It's going okay. I think I'm all right. You know what I mean? So don't underestimate the power of enrolling your loved ones, your boss, your colleagues, your friends, your family, because quite often I've noticed you will get this, what are you doing that for? Aren't there already loads of people doing therapy in your area? Like, everyone's a therapist and a coach these days, aren't they? You know what I mean? But they don't know what we know. What we know is that you only need 5 or 6 customers in a business like humanistic therapy, 5 or 6 clients a month, and that's a life-changing number. Because then that gives you the confidence to go, oh, I've got enough money. This is working. I don't need a side hustle, another side hustle or a job or whatever. Right. And there's plenty of business out there for everybody, even though the media is going to tell you otherwise. Folks, I want you to get ready for this. There is going to be a media storm about redundancies, about the economy, about the cost of living, which we've already been living through to a certain extent, but there is more coming, right? So a combination of, like, when your friends and family read the papers and they go, oh my God, no one's got any money, it's not true. There's plenty of money out there. And I appreciate that it's tough times for a lot of people, but also there are still customers out there with cash to spend with you. Okay. So let's go back to enrollment for a second. The enrollment is kind of interesting because it's also a piece of marketing. So I'm still doing a why and a what and a how. So when I'm having a conversation with my boss, or I'm having a conversation with my partner or my parents or whatever, I'm saying to them, I need to get your attention first, right? So I'm going to deliver the why, the gift. I'm running a gift and a why, what, how at the same time here. It's basically the same tool, just written differently. All right. So it's a piece of marketing. We're enrolling people. So in a face-to-face with a loved one, I'd say, can you give me 15 minutes? I really need to talk to you about something. All right. Now they're already panicking because they don't know what you're going to say. Right. So you've got their attention. That's great. Got their attention. Right. Have a seat for a minute. I've got something I really want to say to you. For 20 years, I've had this thing inside me of wanting to run my own business, but I've never had the courage or confidence to do it. I've reached that point in my life where I really think I've got to give it a go, because if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. Please, can you help me? And by the way, the cost of living crisis is killing me at the moment and I can't pay my bills. So I need to find a way of doing, at least experimenting with my business idea. And I really need your help to be able to do it. And by the way, I found this crazy lot called the Rebel School, which has shown me how to start a business without spending any money. So it's not going to cost us anything apart from a bit of time and a bit of pride when it goes, and if it goes wrong to start with, which it probably will, because it always does. But that's part of the process, you see, and I want you to, here's the killer sentence, guys, for those of you that need to enroll people, bosses or friends and family members. We go, the reason I'm telling you is I don't think anyone really knows how much this means to me. And then don't say anything, because the first one to speak loses. Okay. And I want them to not just hear your words and see your facial expressions. I want them to hear your heart. That's what an enrollment, that's what I mean by enrollment. And also, like, be accepting of the outcome.
and you might not get the result that you want. It doesn't matter how heartfelt your pitch is. So why, what, how is, if I don't try this now, I never will. I've wanted to do it for so long. I need to do it financially because you don't pay me enough. But I don't want to come to you and ask you for more money. What I would like to do is to experiment with my dream. And this is what the implications are for you, for the business, for me, for my job, for our family, and so on. I've worked out that I can spend 10 hours a week and it won't impact the business because I'm going to do it on a Saturday and I'm going to do it 2 nights a week. And this is what my thing is. Would you like to be my first customer? With a twinkle in your eye, right? So that's my sort of thoughts on that one, folks. And being accepting of the outcome means you might not hear back from your friend, family member, boss, colleague, kids, parents, etc. You might not hear back the result that you want. And then what we need to do is we need to have bounce back ability. Remember the ready Brett glow that I was talking about on Monday. I know Rebecca remember that forever. So the ready Brett glow is the bounce back ability is you hit. So when something negative happens, we then go reframe. So we have to ask ourselves a question, and either you can ask it of them or you ask it of yourself. And you go, right, this is my first idea. I get that you don't look excited by that. What would have to happen? One of my favorite questions. It's a good sales question, this one too. What would have to happen? I love that emoji, Amanda Smith. That's amazing. I'm not seen that one before. For those on YouTube watching, I don't know if you saw that, but it was, I've never seen one. It was like a 2-bit alien thing. I got distracted for a second. What was I saying about neurodiversity? Like I just see one purple alien. Yeah, there we go. It goes again. One purple alien, and you've lost me. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the killer question. The killer question is, what would have to happen for you to be able to support me in this? What would it have to look like? And if they come back with something negative, then you go, well, how could we solve that? Like I'm always asking questions, folks. We spend all our time trying to come up with the answers for ourselves, but we're just not asking the right questions. Okay. But when we ask the right question, really interesting things can happen. That's my invitation to you. Okay. There's a transfer of power because like when they come at you with something, I'm being a bit negative this evening because I just know what it's like where there's something some of you will have people around you, whether it's potential customers, bosses, colleagues, best friends. They love you. They care about you. They want to protect you from making a mistake. So they'll tell you stuff that's not always that helpful because they love you, right? So what I'm doing is I'm giving you the extra bit of ready Brett glow. If they come to you with something that's a bit, if you're of a certain age, you remember a company called Kodak. Remember that? If they're a bit Kodak, which means, they're a bit negative about everything. That's my little Kodak joke. If they come at you and they're a bit Kodak, then you go, well, how could we do that? And if they come back at you with something else, you go back at them with another question. It's a transfer of power. When they come at you, it's like, I've got to come up with the answer. And I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm feeling a bit stressed about it. You go, well, just ask another question. How could we solve that? What would have to happen? What would it need to look like for that bit to be solved? How could we find a way of doing it? Because here's the killer word, folks. The most powerful word in negotiation is the word because. Okay. And if we give a reason, what's happening is you're increasing your power. You're right, Anna. Nobody did ask that question at Kodak. So what I'm inviting you to do is to give a reason why. So the first reason you're giving in the pitch, you're saying, look, this has been in my heart for a long time. And if I don't do it now, I never will do it. And I just want to see if I can as a challenge for me. Okay. And I'm always thinking like, what's in it for me? So from a boss conversation perspective, the what's in it for me is you're going to get a more motivated employee. I'm learning sales skills. I'm learning digital skills. I want to bring those skills into the workplace. I want to share with you what I'm learning. And, even if I'm even more motivated, that's got to be a good thing for you, right? So I'm sort of thinking of those kind of things. The overall why is because this is in my heart and I'm passionate about this, and I've done my training and I really want to deliver this message to you and to my customers, and I really want to help people. That's what this is all about. Please, can you help me? Okay, I understand that this might be a bit of a surprise and you'll be having some concerns, but let me tell you, I've worked out if I can put in 10 hours a week, most of those hours are on a Saturday anyway where I don't work, and I'm going to do 2 nights in the week. Oh, you don't like that? Okay, so how could we solve that problem? How could we make it in a way that, what would it need to look like for you to be happy with me doing this? Okay, because here we go. Here's the because this is really important to me, because I don't earn enough money at the moment to cover my bills because of cost of living, and I don't want to come to you for a pay rise. You might end up getting a pay rise and a business out of it. You never know. The because is a very powerful word in negotiation, folks. If you're hearing me, if you understand that because is powerful, please type the word because in the chat and in the comments now. Well done, Sonia, Heart of England Tutors. Tomorrow is my last day of work, having built up my side hustle enough to make it my full-time job. Nice work, Heart of England Tutors, for all your mathematics needs. And some other subjects being covered too. So if you live in the heart of England, find Heart of England Tutors on YouTube, blatant plug, and no, I'm not on commission. Okay, cool. There's a few becauses in there. Do you know the photocopier story? Does anyone know the photocopier story? This is a study as to where it came from. Folks, if you've ever done any coaching stuff, then you might have come across this story. Deb knows it. Michaela knows it. I'm gonna paraphrase the story a little bit. I'm not going to tell it perfectly, but you'll get the gist of it. A queue for a photocopier in a university library. Psychology students were looking at the behaviors of people in the queue. If you were in a long photocopier queue and somebody came and pushed in the front and you've been stood in that queue for 15 minutes. By the way, this is going back in the 80s when people used to queue for photocopiers, right? That's an important caveat. I think they called it a Xerox machine in those days. Would you let anyone push in the front of your queue? Imagine you've been stood there for 15, 20 minutes, some bright spark comes along and they push in the front of the queue. What percentage of the time are these people allowed to remain in the queue? Like, I don't know what would happen in Canada or in New Zealand. I know what would happen in the city where I'm from, Southampton. I think you'd be ejected fairly quickly. And actually, they found out that, I forget the percentage, it was somewhere in the 60s, I think 60% of the time, they were allowed to remain in the queue, but there was a lot of passive aggression, a lot of tutting and huffing and puffing, right? Now, they sent somebody in to push into the queue at a different time, and this time they gave them an excuse. They said, when you push in the queue, tell everybody that your granny is ill in hospital and you have to push in the front of the queue because you're going to miss the visiting times and you won't be able to visit your sick granny in the hospital. What percentage of the time do you think people were allowed to remain in the queue following that excuse? 96. So 96% of the time, people are allowed to remain in the queue. Still a little bit of passive aggression, but just the simple adding of the word because and an excuse, then they were able to get what they wanted. Right, guys, I want you to use this tactic when customers try to knock the price down, for example, or when you're negotiating for a service on the other side. I don't want to pay that price because, right? And if you know, the psychologist study was so interesting because the next time they sent someone to push in the queue, the excuse they gave them was because I'm really busy. Can you imagine? You're stood in a queue and you get to the queue, I mean, they're 15, 20 minutes. Somebody pushes in front of you with their stack of papers and they go, I'm really sorry for pushing in, but I have to push in because I'm really busy. Sorry, what? You're really busy? That's your excuse? Hello? Look at my stack of papers. I've been stood there for 15 minutes because it's 1984 and we queue for photocopiers in the libraries in 1984, right? So what percentage of the time are they allowed to remain in the queue? 94. What? It's only a 2% drop from sick granny to really busy. So that's starting to show you the power of the word because, right? And then exactly, Devin, this is my favorite one is this one, right? Imagine the scene. A lot of people, I don't know what happened in this university. There must have been a riot by the end of this study, people in the photocopier queue, people kicking off and everything, because the last excuse that they gave them was, I'm really sorry. I have to push in the front of the queue because
I've got some photocopying to do. What? Yes, that's why we're all in the queue. Yes, we've got some photocopying to do. What percentage of the time are they allowed to remain in the queue? 93. So it's like a 3% drop from sick granny to I've got photocopying to do. The lesson, folks, here is when you want to influence and persuade people, give them a reason, and it doesn't actually matter what the reason is, but the more authentic the reason is, the more likely you are to get what you want. Okay, so have a few becauses up your sleeve. For example, I don't want to pay full price for that mattress because it's not really the one I want, but I would be prepared to buy it if you can give me a better price. What's your best price? That sort of language in a negotiation is, it's powerful language. You're combining a questioning technique, which is one of my favorite questions. What's your best price? With a because. Katie Donegan, the best because ever, the best reason ever. Can I have a discount, please? Because I'm English. What? So when she goes shopping, by the way, they travel, as you probably gathered, for those of you that follow the Donegans and the Rebel Finance School, you know that they travel around the world. So they've tried this excuse. Like Katie's shameless when it comes to this excuse. She's tried it in Germany. She's tried it in America. She's tried it in Colombia. She's tried it in Poland. They've tried this excuse all around the world, even, wait for it, England. Can I have a discount, please? Because I'm English. Okay. It'd be amazed the amount of times you'll get away with that stuff. Okay. Deb, you're pretty harsh. Deb says she would have refused, Katie. I don't know. She's pretty persuasive. Maybe we should put that to the test. We should do a whole episode on that, Deb. No queues in Norway. That's interesting, Nicola. Is it a free-for-all? Cool. Okay, right. Enough of this, folks. I think I've covered that question about having a conversation with the boss and stretching that out to when we enroll members of the family and friends and so on. Don't just tell them you're starting a business. Enroll them in the business. They are now your cheerleaders and champions. Up until the point where you enroll them, you are leaving it to chance whether they're going to support you or not. So this is about enrollment. This is a very powerful tactic. Catherine, I really like your excuse. I need a discount because I'm from New Zealand and the dollar is crap. I think you should try that out. Okay, right. Let's have a look at some of the questions that we've got here. Annette, you're right in front of my eyes here. Annette, do you want to jump on? Should we have a little chat about your question? How can I present my story and make it captivating? Are you up for a chat? Fabulous. Let's get you in the game. Say hello to Annette, everybody. I can't hear you. Are you waving? That's good. They're very good. Right, Annette, there we go. You should be able to unmute. Are you unmuted?
Yes, I am.
I can hear you. Hello.
Hi.
I love your question. How can I present my story and make it captivating? What have you tried so far? And give me the headlines.
Well, I kind of use some headlines like in LinkedIn. I can't think of it at the moment.
Don't worry. Well, tell me your story, Annette, and then we'll pick the bones out of it together.
Okay, right. Well, I think around 1913, I suffered a mental breakdown as a result of workplace. Yeah, as a result of workplace bullying. I mean, I had been bullied before, and then been working in places where I was actually, with good people. But every now and again, I was unfortunate and just didn't work with such good people.
What sector did you work in, Annette?
Well, I was a PA.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've had colleagues who it's just whatever I did, it was never good enough.
Yeah, my heart goes out to you, Annette. I experienced a bit of workplace bullying once, and it really shocked me because I didn't think I'd be a person that would ever experience that. So it can really sneak up on you, and it has lots of impact.
It can actually. Sometimes you you don't even realize it's happening to you. It can be quite insidious.
Yeah. Tell me what your business is now. What's your focus now, Annette? What do you want to sell?
Well, I have a 12-week one-to-one coaching program.
Okay. And is this for PAs?
Yes, I say PAs, senior admins, PAs, EAs.
Yeah.
Mm.
Senior admins. And your 12-week coaching program helps them to do what? What do you think are the best benefits?
Yeah, well, it helps them to become empowered, to value themselves, stand up to the bully, set boundaries.
Great. I think your experiences really inform the thing that you're doing. So, Annette, I'm just going to talk to everybody else for a second. You hang fire there for a moment. So when I'm looking for a story, folks, there's a couple of directions that we could go in. Sometimes the story is about leaving work behind to set up your own business because of something that happened. But the thing that happened is nothing to do with the product or service that you've created. Okay, so that's one kind of story. Another kind of story, which is where the direction that we're heading with Annette here, is something that happened to Annette has given her the inspiration, but also the kind of drive and purpose to do something about the thing that she experienced. So her business is directly relating to the incident that happened. So Annette, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And if you don't want to answer those questions, then you can just tell me. You can say, I don't want to answer that, Simon. You're in charge. But I'm just going to ask you a couple of gentle questions about your experience of what happened, just to sort of get a sense of how much of your story do you feel comfortable to share in a business context? Because what I'm looking to do is package you up in a kind of in a hero's journey kind of way, like the thing that we went through on Monday.
Oh, I'm familiar with the hero's journey. Yeah.
Cool. Tell me the impact. What happened to you as a result of the bullying that you experienced, Annette?
I felt utterly demoralized.
Yeah.
I used to wake up every morning thinking, "Oh God, I've got to go back there again."
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of demoralized to the point that I felt actually pretty depressed.
Yeah.
Which is not uncommon.
Yeah.
And as I said, I suffered a mental breakdown, and I was helped by a local mental health charity here in Oxford. But what I did realize was there wasn't any help out there at that time, which is specifically geared to helping people who've been workplace bullying targets. I thought that there is something missing here.
Yeah.
And I want to, and that is what I want to provide. I mean, it's, there are a few people now that do specialize, and I am, I am connected to them on LinkedIn.
Okay, cool. Right, Annette, you're amazing. And I think your courage and bravery, and also the tenacity that you're showing to leverage your experience and turn it into something that will help others, is fantastic. All right. Now, to me, the story is really popping, right? So it's quite straightforward. I like, when I'm telling a story, I do like an attention grabber. Remember, this is a why, what, how. The why in a storytelling context here, the why that I'm really zooming in on is why you'll want to listen to the rest of the story. Okay. Now, the bit that stuck out for me was, oh God, I've got to go back there again.
Yeah.
Right? If I was telling your story, I would start with that. That's what we call a James Bond beginning, which basically means there's probably more than me that has watched a Bond film. You ever seen a Bond film, Annette?
Oh, yes, several.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the best thing about the Bond film is the first 7 minutes. Before the opening credits, they go straight to the most exciting bit of the action. And they are captivating, aren't they? The first few minutes of a Bond movie is just like edge of the seat, popcorn stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
when I'm doing a pitch or a presentation or a storytelling bit, I'm going straight into the most exciting bit of the story. What I've heard from you so far and the limited information you've given me is, oh God, I've got to go back there again. That to me is emotional, it's compelling, and it's an attention grabber. It's the G, the gift. It's the why of why I want to listen to the rest of your story. Okay. So that's how, whether it's the written word or whether you find yourself at a networking event in Oxford, or you're in front of somebody in a cafe and they go, so what do you get chatting with some stranger? And you go, what do you do then? You go, well, let me tell you my story. Oh God, I have to go back there again. I was a PA. I was a senior admin working in a company and I got bullied. In fact, I got bullied so badly that I was disempowered, demoralized, and I couldn't face going back to work again. And ultimately, not only did it cost me my job, it cost me my mental health. And I was helped by a mental health charity who helped me get my life back on track. And the experience of the help that I got made me realize there's not much help out there. That's why I set up my business. I want to help senior admins, PAs and EAs to be empowered, to be able to set boundaries, stand up to bullying behavior in the workplace. That's what my program does. I've got a 12-week program that can give the power back to PAs and admins.
Yeah.
The end. Would you like to know more? Do you know any PAs and EAs and senior admins that you could send a website link to? I'm giving my first session for free. Would they like to try out my coaching? Or if you're talking directly to them, you can go, would you like to have, because you seem like a nice person, would you like to have a half-hour coaching session be for free? That's how I sort of package the story. Could you hear the arc, the hero's journey, which is basically, I might have skipped out a little bit of, maybe there's a little bit about your experience that says, you know, if I started the story again with, oh God, I've got to go back there again. So I was a senior admin. I was working as a PA in a large organization, and I got 20 years experience, and I did this and I did that. But then, this is where the dip happened, the challenges. But then I met this boss and they bullied me and they made my life a misery. I was disempowered. I was stressed, and it ended up costing me my mental health and my job. So the, you know, we're sort of solidifying the arc.
And this is actually true. You know, it did end up costing me my job as well.
Yeah, I had a feeling,
as well as my
Annette, I was
health.
guessing. My heart goes out to you, Annette, and I'm so proud that you're A, on this course and sharing what happened to you, and B, that you're turning it into a purpose-driven business where you want to help others that are at risk of having the same experience. Right?
This was while I was recovering from my own mental health, from my own trauma.
Yeah.
I thought, I've got to do this. I've just got to do this.
Good for you, Annette. Have I answered your question? I mean, you can watch back on YouTube and capture the story.
Yeah.
Do you think that you've got enough there?
Yes. Thank you so much, Simon.
You're very welcome. And I think, you know, the thing that I was saying to everybody on Monday, I just want to hammer this point home, is that once you've got your story, there will be different versions of it. There'll be longer versions and short versions. You can activate your story in lots of different ways. You can tell your story in the press. You know, you can get, you know, do a little press release and see if you can get on Radio Oxford, for example, and come and talk about bullying in the workplace. Let me tell you, you know, you send a little press release in, you can get AI to help you to do that, or there's plenty of press templates online that you can follow. It's interesting, the press template follows the very similar structure in storytelling. Quite interesting, because it's a headline first, then it's the text, and then it's why am I here?
Oh God, I've got to go back there. Yeah, I have to go back there again.
What a compelling headline.
It's an attention-grabbing headline, isn't
it? Yeah, it got my attention. That's the thing that popped out of everything you said to me. So we start with the headline. That answers the question why I'm going to listen to the rest of your story. And then we structure the rest of it in the dip. We go, life was good. I was a successful senior admin with loads of experience. Then this happened, and this is what it meant for me. And then coming out the other side, the mental health charity that helped you, but it made you realize there's just not enough support out there. And by the way, we are living in a mental health pandemic at the moment.
We are.
or some sort of demic. I don't know which the difference between an epidemic and a pandemic. I'm not a medical doctor, but if ever there's a time for more mental health support, and it's now. So you've got the zeitgeist. So congratulations on that, and I salute your courage and what's the word? Your willingness to participate. And you went first with your topic, so you've made it easy for everyone.
Thank you,
folks. Please give a round of applause if you haven't done so already. Thank you, Annette. You did great. That was a good one, wasn't it? I like that. Fantastic, folks. Okay, let's have a look. What else have we got here? I'm just going to pick one at random here. Let's go with George next. You're still here, George? Can we find George, please, Rebel Team? I'm going to see if I can find him. Let's get George on. So George's question is, I keep stopping, becoming overwhelmed. How do I keep momentum?
Hi, Simon. How are you?
Oh, I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay.
Hang on, give me a second while we find you and get you on the spotlight.
Thank you.
Oh, there, I got you. Right, there we go.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, water twins.
Yes, Evian.
Other water is available, but only Evian is available if you send us some cash at therebelschool.com. My email addresses. Anyway, right, George, you said, I keep stopping, becoming overwhelmed. How do I keep momentum? Tell me what's going on. And specifically, what are you trying to start that you keep stopping on?
Okay, so my question's probably a bit shallow, if I'm being honest.
No. It's a good question already, because I can tell it means something to you. So keep going.
Yeah, it's deep. So I feel
wait. How have we gone from a shallow question to a deep question in one sentence? Right, don't worry about packaging it up. You just tell me what's going on for you, George, and we'll figure it out together.
So
keep breathing.
I feel like I should be able to do this because of my job. And something that you said on Monday night really hit home with me, that there is so much content out there on business startup. And yet, for the past year, I've not been able to progress the business. And I know this is an execution issue. It's a mindset issue. There's a block somewhere. Like even now speaking, I feel terrified. And the ironic thing is, I teach business startup. Like it's just, and I'm so stuck and so desperate to break through. And I feel like I should be able to, because I help businesses every day. But when it comes to me, I don't know what's going on. And I know it's something mental, and I just don't know what. So the business is called Happy Hormones Club.
Yeah.
Great
name.
Thank you. I've got endometriosis and something called premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD.
Yeah.
And I, like the past 8 years, have navigated it between the NHS and other alternative ways of healing, because I've just hit so many walls and ultimately like been at rock bottom with it.
Yeah.
Like physically and mentally. And we've had this like massive wave of menopause support in the workplace, which is phenomenal. And I want to go into workplace. I want to leave my job at the university ultimately and go into workplaces and advocate for women of all ages with mental health conditions, whether it's just a painful bleed or something like endometriosis or whatever it is. And so I've got my why, and that's huge. And I almost don't know whether that's problematic, because it's so personal for me. It's so deep. But I just don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, cool. Okay, look, there's loads of stuff in what you've said. I'm going to ask you a question in a minute about what your best guess is of what's stopping you. But I'm going to ask you that question in a minute. You keep breathing. That's all good. I've not lost anyone yet in these conversations. So if you keep breathing, that keeps me confident to keep going, right? So There's something about, you use the word should. Okay, I should be doing this. And that to me is a clue that you're in a bit of a loop here, which is, I should be doing this. I really want to do this, but I can't do this. And it's making me feel really frustrated. So you're trying to execute your thing from a place of frustration. And the more frustrated you get, the more it seems like you can't do it. Does that sound familiar? Am I summarizing you well or not? Tell me if I've got it wrong.
I think I go between like hyper focus and doing maybe a bit too much on it, and then I can't do anything, and then I'm feeling like I should be able to do it, and then I feel, yeah, what you said.
Okay, cool. When
it's
somebody's
like, sorry, I was just gonna say it's like all or nothing.
Yeah.
Because then there's also that dip every month anyway, as I navigate my own hormones and everything.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that you figured out that there are certain times in the month where you go, I feel like doing certain things round about here and round about here, but at other times of the month I don't. You're navigating that yourself, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you woke up tomorrow and the business that you have in your heart that's so personal to you was running exactly how you wanted it to be, what would it look like? What would it feel like to you?
I'd be on the CIPD podcast. I'd be talking on stages, like really advocating for women and ultimately being able to get stories off women of impact, that they've had breakthroughs, they have an answer for the symptoms, they've found a solution for the treatment, and be able to share them stories to create more impact. And for me, it's like seeing some metrics. So, you know, they've got less years of suffering, they've got quicker solutions, more information. Like that would all be active and happening, and there'd be a team in place, because I can't do that on my own.
Okay, cool. And what would that mean for you? Why? What's your why? What does that mean for you to have the Happy Hormone Club on the podcast, advocating for women, talking on stages and telling stories of others, of breakthroughs? What does that mean for you?
I lost my grandma to suicide.
Oh, my heart goes out to you, George.
I'm sorry, because of hormones.
Keep breathing. Keep breathing.
And
yeah.
and I know what it's like to be at rock bottom. And there was a time where, I'm so sorry everyone for getting upset. There was a time,
we're right here with you, George.
Like there was a time where I was on my own, and I was on and off HRT at 28 years old and navigated it with no support. And the truth is, in that moment, I was so desperate. I just turned to God, and I was like, just show me any answer, show me anything to help me, and I will turn my life's work to helping other women get out of this situation. And then I discovered herbs and supplements and other things that helped me where HRT couldn't help.
Okay, got it.
So from then onwards, I've been like, that there has to be a reason for all that suffering.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. You did great, George. You got over the toughest bit. Well done. We're all here with you and we've got you. Right. So I'm just going to talk to everybody else for a minute. You just sit there and breathe. Whilst you're sitting there and breathing, what I want you to consider, George, is I know you know what the next steps are. So I'm going to ask you that question in a minute of like, you know, what do you think are the next business steps? But you don't have to answer yet. I'm just going to let you sit with that for a minute of what needs to happen. Okay, so what needs to happen next is that's my next question for business. I'm going to talk to everybody else. Right, folks, this is not a business problem. Can you see what I mean? that there is something going on in terms of how she's thinking about it. It seems to me like she's carrying a real weight around with her. Weight number one is the purpose is such a strong one for her, but the way that she's thinking about it at the moment is disempowering, because she's saying, I should be able to do this because I teach startup. Remember that negotiation word? She's negotiated with herself and she's winning, which is, I should be able to do this because I'm a business trainer, instead of going, there's an expression that I picked up from another trainer once that said, you're shoulding all over yourself, right? And that to me is adding a level of weight, which means that she's not nimble and flexible. It's not a light process. It's a heavy one. It's got all of this weight of expectation, right? Even God got involved in this one. There's an extra expectation here. And like going, wow, never mind what God says, and let's see what George wants to do next. And I think like the next part of the process is for me to find out what George thinks is stopping her, and let's see if we can get her onto the next step at pace with joy and love in her heart, rather than frustration and weight and so on. So George, what's your best guess of what needs to happen next?
So today I've put together a program for businesses.
Nice.
I need to get my first customer. I have the domain name. I just need to create some copy for the landing page. And I ultimately need to go to somebody and just say, can I, because I know there's a perfection thing going on as well. So I need to try and drop that and just say, can I deliver a 1 hour workshop, a 2 hour workshop for you for a cheaper price and get feedback?
What would happen if you did that?
I think it would eventually build and give me the confidence. Because part of this, what I've worried with is, yes, I've got lived experience and I can deliver, but I've not got clinical experience. So I feel like, right, okay, I've got some validation. I'm testing the gap in the market. It's okay. I think there's a need for this, but hopefully have that confidence where I can tick the box and go, yeah, there is, get some feedback off it and use that feedback to develop my marketing, and then try and get the next, charge full price for it and get the next client and build it. So I think it'll give confidence, I think.
So what's stopping you?
That's why I wrote in the chat to you.
Yeah, and you've done great. You've taken a step. You've asked for some help with something. I've got a theory, George, and I'm going to run a theory by you, right? And this might not be about you, but it is about others that I've met. And I want you to notice what comes up for you when I say it, because what you might find is a binary response. You might go, no, mate, you got that wrong. It's not that, it's this. Or you might go, there's some resonance in that for you. Okay, so let me tell you what my theory is. And I'm talking to everybody here with this one. Sometimes I've found over the years that there is a challenge with really smart people. Now, what really smart people do is they get an idea and then they create a vision with that idea. And then they go, because they're smart and because they've got a skill set, knowledge, lived experience, and a presence, what they do is they go, it could be this, it could be that. I'm going to be all around the world. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm on this podcast and I'm on this stage and so on. And then what happens is that the vision then becomes the overwhelm, because you go, oh, now I've got to execute and make it real, but it feels too massive right now. But the problem that smart people have, George, I'm not saying you're smart, feel free to contradict me, but I have an inkling that you might be. What that means is that we keep flipping back to that vision and it becomes out of balance, because I can see what it's going to be like. I can feel it. I know I'd be good doing those things. But then what happens is out of balance from the activity, which means what do I have to do right now? And it's small steps. Now, there's something, I think that's part of my theory with you. I'm going to test it with you in a second. So that's part of it. Hear me out, right? So that may be part of the challenge, is the vision is massive and it gets a bit overwhelming because we don't really know where to start, but you kind of do. but it's like it feels a bit too much. And if we add to that the weight of expectation that you're putting on yourself, it feels to me, George, that if you woke up tomorrow and you were being a little kinder to yourself, okay, I shouldn't have to do anything, actually. There's no should about this at all. Is that I'll do what I can when I can, rather than going, because I'm a business trainer and I teach other people this stuff, I should be able to get this thing up and running in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So I should be on podcasts by 3 months. Well, no, you shouldn't, for a number of reasons. Number one, who knows what your path is going to be once you make that first sale? The first sale teaches you the next step. Right. Now, you mentioned God. There's a story in at least one of the books. I can't remember which one. I'm not an avid reader of religious books, but there is, I think it's a Bible one. I think it's in the Quran as well. There's something about crossing a ravine and having faith and then taking the first step and the rest of the path revealing itself to you. You do not need to know what the whole pathway is. You might have a sense of what it might want to look like, but who knows? What do you think of my theory?
I think you're good, Simon. Yeah.
You like those theories, George?
Yeah, I think you're definitely right with the amount of it and the vision, and then almost my sense is, and I hope I say this like right, that I wouldn't have to push too far, and I think there'd be opportunities, which sounds, I don't know how that comes across, but I'm terrified of that. Because I am terrified of a business paying me money and me doing a workshop and it being crap, or them saying that wasn't good, or that's not.
I made a career out of that, George. Don't worry.
Like I'm terrified of that, of maybe letting them down, but also I'm very aware that there are GPs not far from me that are experts in women's health doing workplace wellbeing talk. So I constantly have this thing, and like I've had a conversation with ChatGPT today for an hour about this and getting like training it to coach me, trying to coach myself through it. And I keep getting that I'm coming from lived experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not a clinician, but I'm just so scared of having to deliver something for a business.
Got it.
And what if it's not right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, right. So George, I'm going to talk to everybody else for a second. I love what you've said. Now we're getting to the thing that's a little bit deeper, a little bit further in to what's holding you back. Like, I wouldn't be speaking to customers if I was terrified either. I totally get it. Like, no wonder you can't get out of the next stage because you're terrified.
Yeah,
right?
I am.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I love that you've said that. Like, oh, there's no so deep reason as to why you're stuck. I'm like, you're terrified. So makes loads of sense. Don't launch the business if you're terrified. That sounds horrible. Let's deal with the terror, and then we can launch the business, and then maybe it will feel and look and seem a little different to you in a moment, George. So I just want you to sit with this for a moment whilst I talk to everybody else. So you remember to keep breathing for me. The thing that's really interesting about what George has said, folks, and I don't apologize for these coaching sessions going on a little longer than I thought they might this evening, because these have been two big topics, right? But what's so interesting for me, if I put my I've already got my glasses on, but if I put the magnifying glass on what's going on, the issues that George has brought up, what will seem really powerful and really strong, and really difficult and very personal to her, and the experience that she's having is a universal experience, which is is almost in the similarities to Annette of saying, like, something difficult happened to me. I've now got a purpose for which I need to go out and do something, which it's got some weight. It feels heavy, and I'm terrified of something going right, and I'm terrified of something going wrong, and I'm now stuck because of it, plus the expectations of what I should be or shouldn't be able to do. Wow. Like, no wonder. Okay. So the thing I want to say to everybody here is I've got good news and bad news, right? The bad news is it's a hallucination. She's terrified of a thought. remember my thing on Monday of like, we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And there's a bunch of bees buzzing around. And the more of those thoughts, percentage wise, like, put yourself in George's shoes for a second, who says that she's terrified and she should be able to do more, but she's feeling stuck, but she's a startup trainer and so on. All of these thoughts that she's having, I wonder what percentage of the day she's entertaining these thoughts. And remember, we get what we focus on. Now, if I was a betting man, I'd say she has this thought more than once in a day. So if that's the case, if she's thinking thoughts that terrify her for many minutes, possibly an hour or two a day when you add it all up, possibly it's something that comes into her mind when she wakes up, possibly it's something that's in her mind when she goes to bed, and a whole bunch of times in between. Let's say I'll be kind to George for a second, and let's say that it's 3 hours a day where these thoughts are being entertained. 3 hours per day, which is 21 hours per week, which is 84 hours a month, which is a lot. So, right, I'm getting my calculator out because I've done that thing again when I've chosen a number, which is really tricky to do the quick maths on, right? So we're looking at, that's 126 working days a year where you're thinking terrified thoughts, George. Now, I don't know about you. I'm coming back to you now. Starting a business from that place of spending 126 working days a year. It's like 1,008 hours a year thinking scary things. I'm terrified. And the bad news being that it's a hallucination. When we zoom out of that now, can you see why you're scared to launch?
Yeah, I can see why I've not done much on it in a year, despite having a domain name for like 2 years.
I've done that one. Done that one. So if you woke up tomorrow and you knew that if something went wrong in a training session, here's what I know to be true. And this is a universal truth, but it's also a truth for you, George. The universal truth is you'd know what to do if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
You'd figure it out.
Yeah.
Let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. If you ran a workshop tomorrow, you did your first one. And by the way, if the first one goes brilliantly, I'll be really cross because it took me about 12 workshops to get one that worked well. Right. But anyway, I'll be happy for you, but I'll have a slight twitch in my eye. Right. So imagine the first one that you did and it didn't go well and you learned a bunch of stuff and the client wasn't happy, whether they paid for it or whether it was a freebie or whatever. What action would you take? What would you do? What could you do?
There's an answer that I want to give you, but I'll give you the honest answer. I'd probably go inside myself and do nothing for 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of, and if I have, and this is really interesting, so thank you for your honest answer, George. If the perfectionist in you says that this workshop has to be brilliant and perfect first time round, then you're going to be disappointed. It doesn't matter what you deliver. And, it sounds to me, George, that if you, for example, you can de-risk it even more. You can take the pressure off having to earn any money from the first one. Go and get someone to say yes, but in exchange for feedback, a testimonial, and an introduction to somebody else.
Yeah, that feels easier.
Because then if you haven't got a transaction in play, then you get to test the first one and there's no skin in the game.
Yeah, I think it's the feedback that I need.
If you don't get feedback, how do you know if the thing is I'll give you another example, right? So last week I ran one of the toughest workshops, and I've been delivering workshops for years. One of the toughest workshops that I've ever done. In fact, I've had 2 this month. That's why I've got these lines. That's why Rebecca knew that the numbers didn't add up when I said I started a business at 20. But anyway, I'm going to get past that, Rebecca. I'm not going to keep bringing it up. So the thing for me here is that session, and I have very high standards and a very high expectation that I'll get a brilliant impact in every single session that I run. And guess what? I'm disappointed every time. And I know that by doing it, I'll be better next time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so let's revisit your vision again for a second.
Yeah.
If you went from 0 to grand vision without a whole bunch of workshops that went wrong, you'll be found out on stage. You'll be lacking in authenticity because you won't have had the grit of speaking to women, which is actually kind of what you want to do. My sense is here, if you accepted the fact that the first workshop and the second workshop and probably the 15th workshop won't be as good as you want it to be, but I don't get to deliver a perfect workshop until I've run a few. Because up until that moment, it's another hallucination. It's all made up, like the fear. It's all made up.
Yeah.
It's an expression of how you're thinking about it, not reality.
Mm-hmm.
And for 3 hours a day, or maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a question for you, George. What would you need to focus on to feel confident to get out there and run your first one?
Oh, that's a big question.
You're welcome.
What would I need to...
What would you need to focus on? What would you need to focus on to build your confidence to get out there and run the first one?
I actually feel like I need to shut all the noise down of my like actual massive plan and the vision I've got, because I think that's hindering me right now.
That sounds smart.
And I think I just need to
Love that.
see, like, if one person wants me to do a workshop and I don't know, like, just pick one bit of it, because I've got HR management support and then I've got stuff for employees and like other add-on bits, but maybe just pick like my MVP of it and just do a 1 hour basic thing and just try and really focus on that, and like one person, one business, and forget everything else, because I keep looking at everything. And maybe not even do the website and my LinkedIn page.
Bingo.
Yeah.
What would happen if you did that? What would happen if you got the first basic minimum viable product in front of people and forgot everything else for now and shut out the noise and just cracked on and did the first one to get feedback and to learn and to gather stories and to go and do what's in your heart, which is to help women? What would happen if you did that?
I think I'd be far less overwhelmed. I can feel it like now, like the idea of that feels far less overwhelming. And I think it'd buy me time to just grow my confidence. I've obviously, it's massively personal, so like figure out how I'm going to navigate that with like I'm going to grow with it, and then I don't know, it'll just evolve.
I love that, George. Told you were smart, didn't I? I said that earlier on. That sounds so wise to me, and I'm so with you on everything that you've just said. In fact, what you've just said is way better than what I would have said. If someone said to me, just tell George what to do, I'd have done a version of that. But what you just said is a much, much better version.
Okay.
I think I was having hallucinations, right? I was going, I'm making up stories here. Let me test my theories out on George. That because it's so personal to you, that's exactly why we need to have a vision, have a dream, and then dial it back and have an acceptance that you're starting a business from where you're at, not where you wish you were at. Right. So there's a level of resilience that we need to build up. How do we do that? We get the first one.
Yeah.
And then we see what we learn, and we take a deep breath. You have a cup of hot chocolate, give yourself a hug, and have a lay down for a week and go, oh my gosh, I did the first one. I'm so proud of myself. Whether it went well or not, I'm so proud of myself because I did the first one. Mm-hmm. and acknowledge yourself. And, you know, if my one ask of you, George, is to be kinder to yourself. And when those invasive terror thoughts come in, remember that they're just made up. It's just a hallucination. It's just an expression of how you're thinking about it, not reality. And know that you've got absolutely everything you need to connect with people and change people's lives.
I hope so. Yeah. Thank you so much, Simon.
Good for now?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Right, remember to keep breathing and drink water, everybody. You did great.
Heavy in breathing.
It's right. Yeah. Guys from the Rebel team, give me email Evian tonight, please. I feel like we should get some water sent around to everybody. Well done, George. Proud of what you've just done. Awesome. Okay, folks, let's give George a breather from the spotlight. How well did she do? Folks, I'm really interested in what, I know that the chat's been kind of going a little bit and I've missed what's been going on. As you probably noticed, I was super present with George to find out what was going on with her. What's fascinating to me is the point that resonated with George of what I was saying on Monday was all of the information as to how to start and build a successful business in 2025 is out there already. So the things that are holding us back, none of it is about business information. It's all out there. It's about execution, and what's holding us back is not the thing, it's how we're thinking about the thing currently. So if we can get grips on how we're thinking about it, the whole world changes. It's so interesting, isn't it? And this is why I occasionally get grumpy when people go, oh, you train people in starting a business. That's what we do. We do that too. We do the same as you. I said, I don't think you do. I think like there's something about, yes, there's business information, but that's the jacket it's wearing. Underneath is matters of the heart, folks. That's really what I'm communicating with all of us throughout these sessions. It's matters of the heart. And, you know, the fact that you guys keep showing up tells me that we might be on the right track. Not for everybody. I know I annoy some people. I annoy myself sometimes, George. Okay, cool. Let's have a little look here. Is Sonia Okabule in the house? Let's dive into the next one. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we got some time, folks. I'm going to get to as many of these as I can.
Hi, guys.
There's a Sonia Okabule in the house. I can hear you. Let me find you. We will spotlight you, Sonia. Oh, there you are. Oh, thank you for waving. That makes life a lot beautiful.
All right, so let's see.
Hi,
everyone.
I was talking about you behind your back today. Could you tell?
No, yeah, I did. My ears must have been burning.
Yeah. I was in a conversation with somebody about their menu and about there's nothing that's gluten-free, sugar-free on their menu. So I know somebody that knows about this stuff. Please say hi to Sonia, everybody. Right, Sonia, what's on your mind?
Right. I am getting to that stage where the business, just a quick win as well before I start. The business has been up for another run-up award.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Future of Foods, highly is it highly recommended or highly commented or something like that. I wasn't in the finalists, but it's the second finalist. But anyway, that was another notch on my belt, which I am definitely giving a confidence. So I'm getting to that stage where I'm ready to take this side hustle I was doing with my job, alongside my job. Now I want to take it full on, but I am holding myself back.
Okay. So well, let's get into that, Sonia. What's going on?
Again, it's similar to what George was talking about. You get in your own head. I do this as a job and I want to be able to take this side hustle to stand on my own 2 feet, because I've given myself 2 more years of doing the job and then I need to move on. But because of COVID, when I did start to run the job and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think something from that just, I've never quite recovered from that. Because I felt it was when I put myself out there finally and was running, I was getting to the stage where I was no longer, the business was running, I was almost now in profit. Then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then I was stuck because I left my job. I started to run that, and then now I'm being overly cautious about running it. And even though I'm putting myself out there with the business, and like I said, we've got another award, but the business is not even registered. I don't have a website. Well, I did have a website from when I joined PopUp, when Rebel was PopUp into it. Was it 2017 or 2018? I keep forgetting, Simon. You remember these ones?
Asking me to remember things, Sonia. I'm the wrong person to ask, but thank you for putting your faith in me.
Okay, so you had the website, you launched the
Yeah.
business, then COVID happened, but then you left your job, and now you're cautious because there's something that's holding you back. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm Sonia, right? What I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't want you to answer it. Yeah, I want you to sit
no
with it
problem.
because I want to talk to everybody else because there's an issue here for everybody to be mindful of for their own businesses, right? And for their not just the business, but the business of the mind. I should trademark that. I like this.
Oh yeah, definitely trademark. I want it on a t-shirt.
Right, guys, you didn't hear me say that. That's my next book. Right, so business. Anyway, so I'm going to. The question I want to ask you, Sonia, is if you woke up tomorrow and we'd solve. Imagine we'd solved the problem overnight. We'd waved the magic wand, and your business was running exactly how you wanted it to be. What would be the evidence? Right. So what would you see? What would you hear? What would you feel? What would the work look like? You know, give us a sense of what kind of money you want to be earning every month. Like just paint a picture of what you want life to be like in terms of your business. Like, because there's something that's holding you back.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So what I want to know is imagine that thing had disappeared and the business was running and looked and felt and it was exactly how you wanted it. Right. So I just want you to sit with that for a minute whilst I talk to everybody else. Okay, so you just kind of figure that one out. Right, folks, the message that I've got for you on this one, same for all of us, it's a universal, this one, which is the problems that we face are really seductive. Okay, the things like the fears that we have, the things that we're scared of, the things that we haven't figured out how to do yet, what happens is that we intellectualize them. We try and think, we keep going around in circles, thinking of the same thing. But what if this? And how do I do that? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Now, this is a little bit like a dog chasing its own tail. Okay. So we keep going around in circles. Folks, if you've experienced going around in circles with trying to figure out the same problem over and over again, YouTube folks, please stick it in the comments. Guys in the Zoom room, stick it in the chat, type the word circles, just so I get a sense. Has anyone else experienced? Am I making this up? Or is it just me? Is it just me and Sonia that keep going around in circles? Or does anyone else experience this too? There's a few of us. Yes, good. Yeah. Pete, yes, I thank you for the actual circle. Love it. Yeah, this is not
actual circle. Look
at him with his emoji. Look. High performing head of technology and mental health at the Rebel School Side Hustle. So what happens is we go around in circles and we put all of our attention on the thing that we need to solve, right? But my invitation to you is to think that this is a thinking problem. It's not a doing problem. It's just how I'm currently thinking about it, which means that you're trying to use more thinking to solve a thinking problem. Okay, this is a little bit like trying to give up sugar and then going to a cake factory for the afternoon to help you give up sugar. Or another way of saying that is if someone has a drink problem, my guess would be that you probably wouldn't give them more whiskey. If you've got a drinking problem, don't have more drink, have less. If you have a thinking problem, don't have more think, have less. Okay, so how do we do that? So what I'm going to do in a minute, the question that I've asked Sonia, which we'll come back to Sonia in a second, is the same question that I'd ask all of you. Let's park the stuff that we're trying to figure out for a moment. Because while we've got our attention there, we're just going to get uncertainty, frustration, and we don't know what to do next, right? So I'm purposefully putting Sonia's attention on what she wants to have happen. Let's go back to the thing that she really wants. And then I'm going to understand why she wants it, what that means for her. And then we are going to figure out what might be holding you back. Sonia, you ready? Tell me what you want the business to be like. Imagine we'd solve the problem. What does it look like? What does it feel like to you?
I mean, for one, I'll be able to sleep well. I haven't been able to sleep properly because my mind just keeps, when you're in your alone time, you keep thinking, I should have done this. You should have gone ahead with the plans.
Yeah.
The plans are all there. I know what I need to do. And I've even gotten ahead and found out about putting starting the property, trademarking the product, getting the company registered. But every time I try to do that, I have another excuse not to do it.
Okay, good. Right, pause there for a sec, Sonia. Folks, what happened then is that I asked Sonia a question as to what she wanted her business to look like, and then she told me that she couldn't sleep, and that every time she tries to do something, she struggles to get it done. Can you see how powerful it can be with the stuff which is so seductive that takes our attention away from what we want and back into the reasons why we can't do it? This is a great example of this happens with all of us, folks. It's like, I really want this, but I can't do it because of all these other things. So I'm going to be really annoying for Sonia in a minute. I'm going to be like a dog with a bone on this one. I'm going to ask the same question again, and then let's see what happens this time. Right, Sonia, question for you. Ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask it in a slightly different way. If I bumped into you in the street in 6 months' time and I went, "Hey, Sonia, how's it going?" And you went, "Oh my God, Simon, that conversation that we had on the side hustle that night, that's changed everything for me. And now my business is operating exactly how I want it to be." What would have happened over that 6 months to get you what you want?
For one, I'll take just one, the first step, the easy one that I find less overwhelming, and get that done. And that would be a relief, and maybe not overthink the other things. So that would give me the freedom and the confidence to move forward.
So what would have happened if you'd taken the first step, Sonia?
That would definitely free up the overwhelm and the weight of not getting things done when I should have gotten them done. But yeah, it'll give me the freedom and confidence to move on. And I think going over that first hurdle will definitely free up. It's just getting that first thing that I need, that I feel like that I need to get done. I think that it might be something else holding me back, but I just can't put my finger on it. That is the issue.
I can. Do you want to hear my theory? You know, I gave George a theory.
Yes, please.
What I heard in what you said was a story about COVID. Right, and my heart goes out to you. Like we lost £250,000 in 2 hours.
Wow.
The day before lockdown, so I know what it feels like.
You win. I'll just go.
Well, it's all relative, isn't it? Like
what
you don't have a bunch of employees at the moment. I had a bunch of employees. That's why the numbers sound bigger. But there'll be businesses out there that will go, "Well, we lost £2.5 million in half an hour. So screw you, Rebel School." Like it's all relative. The numbers are relevant. But in my world, I understand the impact of COVID, not just in terms of revenue, but our business model completely changed overnight. We were an events company in February 2020, and then suddenly we weren't. We're an online training business. How do you do that then? Right. So and Henry, bless him, had a lot of late nights with Jack trying to figure out how to do it. And we convinced Westminster City Council in London to be our first client. So I understand this, right? The story of COVID, my hallucination, Sonia, is that your story of COVID is where you've got your focus right now. Because that is where some fear is coming from. It was that out of everything that you said when you told me the thing, about 70 to 80% of your words that you used were about COVID and about what happened in COVID and then having to leave a job and all that kind of stuff. My message to you, and it's the same to everybody here, is the best thing about the past is it's over. If you're looking backwards, the chances of you being able to move forwards and feeling confident to move forwards. And this is why I keep asking that question. And I hope you guys, everyone in Sonia, you can make it on Monday, because Alan will really help you with this. Alan and Katie's session is as best we can. And, you know, some of us aren't blessed with the clarity of vision that George has got. It's ironically, it's actually that big vision is one of the things that might have been holding her back for a little while. Some of us go, I don't really know. I did this for years. I don't really know what I want Rebel School to look like. And then I got stuck because I thought I should know. I should have a vision. Yeah, but I don't know. But I'm supposed to know. I'm going to go around in circles, right? So wherever you're starting from, the vision question, and I think I saw somebody else put a thing in the chat. I can't quite remember who said it, but there was something else about, I don't really know what I want my business to look like. How do you do a vision? I don't really have one. If you might have one, Sonia, like what I would love you to think about before Monday is if you could answer that question really clearly
and go, well, my business, I would have 6 customers a month. I'd be doing 2 sessions a week here, 1 session a week there, and then I would be getting X number of sales on my products that I'm selling. That to me is, if you know what that is, and it's just your best guess, then you choose the time frame that makes sense to you. I met someone once, they had a 20-year plan. I mean, I think they were a psychopath. Like, I have to know, like, that just blew my mind. 20 years, I don't know what I'm doing in 20 minutes. But for others, you go, actually, a year feels like a good time frame. Or for you, based on where you're at and taking the first small step, maybe it's a month. Maybe you said, right, and we can break this down into mini visions. You go, like, if I just knew that in next week or next month or in 3 months' time or 6 months, here's what I want to have happen. Focus on that, paint a really rich picture of it in your mind and make notes of it. And then you've got a bit of clarity on what it's that thing of beginning with the end in mind. It's like, right, now I've got a bit of clarity on what I'm trying to do. What are the 10 things that I have to do in order to do that? And which one do I feel like I want to do first? Meanwhile, let go of COVID. It happened. It was 5 years ago. It was an absolute basket case. The whole world was turned upside down. Our individual worlds were turned upside down. I mean, it was a fascinating time. I was in lockdown. I separated from my ex, lost a bunch of money, pivoted the business, lived in the house with my ex during lockdown, and it was a challenging time. One of the reasons for these lines for all of us, and with all of the COVID stuff and the pandemic, and trying to rescue the business and catching COVID and getting the OG COVID. Those of us know what I'm talking about. The OG COVID was something that scared a hell of a lot of us, right? So all of that stuff, best thing about the past is it's over. What I want you to do, Sonia, is to look forwards. What do you want to have happen? And what's the next step? There is a clue. The clue for all of us is sales led. Okay. What I've discovered is the cycle of business is the same. It doesn't matter whether you're one person or 1,000 people. The cycle of business is, if you're sales led, you go, what can I sell? What can I upsell? What can I cross sell to the customers I've already got, so that I can turn my revenue from X to Y? And then once I've sold more, then I've got to get it delivered. And I start to organize myself and the people around me to deliver it. Meanwhile, I need to make sure that I've got the insurances and the numbers collected and so on. Lots of people start business the other way around. They try and do the trademarks and the accountancy and the insurances first. I go, we haven't got a customer yet. I get a customer first, which is kind of the conclusions that George was coming to. Did you see when she went from grand vision to, I just need to go and do a thing first and see what I learn? Amazing. So it's the same process that repeats. It doesn't matter what stage of business you're at, is what I've learned. Whether you're a startup or whether you're in growth mode, you go, I need to focus. I need to figure out what it is that I want to do, what I want it to look like. And then I go make some sales. How do I make sales? Would I focus on one thing, choose a target audience, take lots of action to put it in front of them. And then I see what I learn. If I make sales, then I go to stage 2. If I don't make sales, I got to adjust. Good for now, Sonia?
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Lovely to see you. And please, can you post your business in the chat?
Will do.
People want to know what you're all about. Nice work, Sonia. Thanks for jumping on. Beautiful. Okay, folks. Does anyone know what day it is? I get it, Nicola. I'm sorry, right? Okay, so we've got Sonia here. Pete, you want to jump on? Peter Hannah in the house. So Pete says, don't worry, I'll give you some thinking time, Pete. Pete says, how can I, not sure if this is going to make sense. Oh, in that case, we won't do you. Right, we'll move on to someone else. Create a partnership with a company to offer my training to their clients and need to arrange a finder's fee. I'm guessing it's pounds of sales and a finder's fee. However, how do I make this work where payment comes out at source so I don't have to pay back an income and pay the finder's fee? Any idea? Bring that to life for me, Pete. What's on your mind? Hello, Peter. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, both. Both is fine. I think it's a two-way thing.
So just this evening, having kind of got back from work, I've had an email from a client that I've connected with, who basically has hundreds of other clients that they support. So my job is that I deliver mental health training and neurodiversity training and other stuff along those lines. And they are wanting to offer my training out to their clients. The way that we're trying to figure out, and the conversation I need to have, is about how we create a finder's fee. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to rake in all the money and then pay them the finder's fee. I'd rather them sort all the money out and then I somehow claim the finder's fee. But I've just never done anything in that respect before. And so it's just trying to understand, how do I create a kind of growth percentage kind of style on income coming in with an external client who's doing an external client. Never done it before, Simon. Any ideas?
Me neither, Pete. But together, my friend, we will figure it out.
I hope you understand. Hannah,
no, I've got no idea what you're talking about, actually. No, that's not true. I've got a sense of it. The question I had is, why don't you want to take the cash? I'd like cash. Cash ranks right up there with oxygen. What is it that's preventing you from doing the, like, give me the money? Show me the money, Pete.
I'm the thing that's creating the blockage, because I think my biggest fear is that I get the income and then I spend the income, and then they say, hang on, what about our finder's fee? And I go, nuts. Just because I'm greedy and will spend the money.
I don't think you're greedy, Pete.
It's trying to, I suppose it's actually finding that kind of balance of putting that money to the side and making sure it then goes to them and all of that.
Is it an admin thing that you're scared of? Is it the process? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, a couple of thoughts that go through my mind. One is, this is all hallucination. Figure it out with the client, right? And like, have a view. But I think my approach would be, go and have the conversation with the person that can unlock this for you and say, I've got an idea I want to run by you. I don't really know how to make it work. But almost, rather than you sort of thinking about how, like, the things that you're scared of, abandon that for a minute and go and serve them and go, if there is a way to make this work, this is the kind of thing that I'm thinking. I'm kind of thinking of a 5% finder's fee. And for every client that I get as a result of you signposting them, you know, I'll pay you X, whatever the number is, right? And if we hit this number, I'll increase it. That was what I was thinking, but it might be a complete hallucination. I don't know how we would make that work. What do you think? What does that sound like to you? And actually, because what you're doing is you're trying to figure out a thing without some information that you need in order to be able to figure it out. So I would co-create it with them. I think that would be my approach. How does that sound?
It sounds good, because I think the thing that is getting in my head is that all the courses are different costs, and the number of people that they can access those are different numbers of people. And it as soon as it came in, I was like, this sounds like a great idea. And then I just went into that kind of internal panic mode.
Yeah, I get it. So it's either a percentage of profit or it's a flat fee. I'll pay you 500 quid for every course that I run, or whatever the number becomes. I think there are some that you'll lose more on and some that you'll win big on if you had a flat fee, but maybe it's a percentage of profit. And actually, if the other part to this is, once you've done the co-creation bit with them, then you're able to set up an admin system, without sounding like Alan and Katie too much, but there's a system there, which is, I'm just going to stick it in the calendar and I'll process it every Thursday morning. And there's a way as part of the system where I can put it on the client too. Get them to go, you know, here's the conversations that we've had this month. So I think step one is go have the conversation first and see if you can co-create the solution, because you might find that deals with all of your fears. And then number two, we set up a little system. I think it's a really smart way of doing it. I think it's like, you know, you go, here's my client, I could upsell them, I could cross-sell them. That's two tactics. Third tactic, incentivize referral. That's basically what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
So to incentivize the referral, it needs to feel worthwhile to them. But how do you know what that is until you chat to them? So I think, like, you're the sort of person that has great relationships with people. Leverage your skill set of, you know, of charming. He's a charmer, isn't he, Hannah? He's very charming. Leverage your skill set.
The answer is yes, Hannah. You leverage your skill set. I'll help you. Leverage your skill set, go have the conversation, co-create the solution, and then build a system around that. Because then you don't have to be scared then because you've solved it. It's scary because it's a hallucination. Does that make sense?
Are there any tax implications? Someone's mentioned that in the chat. Or is it simply either they invoice the client and then we invoice them, or we invoice the client and then they invoice us, and it's just straightforward? Or is there anything that will make it not straightforward?
No, I think it seems pretty straightforward to me. There's the people that will be paying for the course. You'll invoice them as you normally would. And then the person that's done the referral, if it's at company level, then you'll have a process that will say X number of people came through my course this month that came directly from your referrals. So therefore I owe you X, whatever that becomes. Mm-hmm. The tax implication is actually you'll pay less tax because your profit will take a slight hit. You could always increase the course price slightly to take into account. So actually the referral doesn't cost you any money, but that's another part of the conversation. Go on, Pete. What's on your mind? I swear.
I see that. I think the other thing that is in my head is that because of the client that I have, the partnership that I have is then going out to so many different companies, me tracking who's come from where becomes incredibly difficult. Yeah. Because I run open courses, so individuals can just book in. If I just get like people booking in, but I don't know that those clients have come from the partnership,
cool,
I'm lost. Unless I can create a code which they give out to their partners and then they give in. And
yeah, I think to me, again, the answer to that will probably come out of the conversation, because you might find that they've done something like that before, in which case they'll go, oh yeah, this is how we do it with this company and it works a treat. I give them a code, and or that's in the sign up process, that when you just add a box to the form when someone's signing up to something, or you can find it's in the system, but we can't create a system until we know what the inputs are.
Yeah.
And I would go, I'd actually ask for help. So help me figure this out. What's the most efficient way of doing it that doesn't cause you or me a bunch of paperwork nightmares? How are we gonna resolve it? Have you done anything like this before? And then come up with a thing together, like you say, like maybe it's a discount code. That's a good way of doing it. People definitely type those in. I mean, so the course, let's say for example, the course is £500 a person. You've got an opportunity the course is £525 a person, and you give a £25 discount to somebody. So then you can always look at your prices and go, oh, maybe I could absorb some of the cost of doing this, but I don't have to absorb it all. You're in charge. Do a little test first before you roll it out and see if get your system to work. But we don't know what the system is until we know what we're creating and why. We collaborate, co-create the solution.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Nice to see you.
Thanks.
Love you. Bye. That was a good one. I like that one. I'm a big fan of the co-creation bit, guys. I think I used to think I had to have the course all done and dusted and looking professional before I could have a conversation. And then, like back in the early days of the business with Alan and I working together, we literally send a list of bullet points to a client and go, here's our list of courses we can create for you. It was basically the same course, but with a different title. There was no other substance behind it than 20 ways to leave the job center behind forever. How to become how to become utterly employable. It's the same course. We hadn't even written it yet. We were just calling it something different. And the client would read down the list and go, oh, I really like the look of that one. And you go, great, well, we'll flesh it out for you and we'll come up with some stuff. It was basically the same thing with a different badge. No website, no brochures, no proposals, none of that stuff. It starts with a conversation. We co-create it and we build it with them. And that's worked really well for us over the years in that kind of business. I appreciate it's not appropriate for everybody, but for those that it is, maybe that's useful. Cool. Shall we have, just so it was slightly different, folks, those questions that I haven't got to answer tonight because it's 10 o'clock will be, so Michaela's question which is, Michaela, you need to jump on the live on Tuesday night. We can absolutely support you with that. We would love to get you involved. So we'll put some more information in the support group. Find the post about Rebel Leaders in the support group to get some support on that one. Mel C, unfortunately, I'm not going to get to answer this question. Could you save it for next Thursday? What I would like to do is, with your question, I'm going to copy it, and Anna's question we won't get to. We're going to do a very quick review of Nicola's website, because she's been very patient with me, and bless her, she wanted to go to bed literally hours ago, but she stayed up. So thank you for that. Rebel team, please can I get you to copy out Anna's and Mel C's? I'm having a multitasking challenge here. I just want to focus on Nicola's website. So let's make sure that we capture Anna Lou's question and Mel C's question, and I will do that first next Thursday night. In the meantime, let's do a quick website review. Let's have a look at Nicola's website. Let's pop it on the what do we call it? What do they call it? Internet. We've got all the mod cons here, folks. Okay, bear with me a sec. And folks, you can have a look at that from, if you can see the chat. I will stick it in the chat now, just whilst I find the internet, which has disappeared off my screen, which is exciting. Okay, so that's the website that we're going to look at. Nicola Williams, hypnotherapy.com. And folks, like, I just want you to be have in your mind the thing that I'm focusing on when it comes to looking at any piece of marketing. Remember, I was saying I'm looking at the why, the what, the how, and I'm thinking about the gift. That's the approach that I want to take. I'm hoping that I'm having a bit of a moment here. Right, let me try again. Folks, can you see Nicola's website on the screen? Excellent, because I couldn't see it. And then I remembered I've got two screens. I'm looking at the screen like, where the hell is it? I mean, it's here, but it's over there. Right, so that's good. Okay, great. So love that there's a video on the homepage right at the start, right? So that makes the website, it gives you the stickability. Should we play it and watch it together? No, I'm joking, Nicola. I won't do that to you. Don't worry. But the fact that you've got a video there, 70% more likely to convert if you've got a video, because it's a trust accelerator. People will buy things from you if they know, like, and trust. And it's a fantastic video. Without even looking at it, I could, like, the framing is perfect. It's really clear. We'll have a watch. We'll get some popcorn and we'll do a watch party next time, Nicola. Okay. So great job. The next thing is, I think that we need to improve this headline. I think you've done really well with the sort of the Ron Seal approach of, I help you open up your world and see what's possible. I think it's, firstly, I think it's quite vague. And secondly, it's a bit wordy. Okay. So, for example, if that headline, and I've got the James Bond thing in my head at the moment. Remember what I was saying about Annette's story? I've gone straight to the most exciting part of her story as the headline. This is what I want to do with this headline here. I want to do something similar. So, for example, and this might be the wrong words, but I just wanted to give you a couple of things to chew on here. The first one is, it's time to change your life. That is a more impactful headline than I help you open up your world and see what's possible. It's quite wordy. So I think what we want to do is shorten it and then 10x the impact of the words that you use. So as I'm going to read your website now, I'm going to see if any other alternative headlines jump out at me. I really like this bit. Begin your transformational journey today. Does exactly what it says on the tin, but it's teed up much better if you've got a stronger headline. You're compelling people to slow down. You're getting them. It's like what I was saying about enrollment. This headline enrolls people in why I'm going to scroll. So the more powerful it is, the better frame of mind your customers and clients are going to be in when they read the next bit, because they're already going, ooh. That's what the first bit of marketing needs to do, guys. It's that ooh, oh, ooh. That's the sound of good marketing, right? Okay. Immediate thing that jumps out at me, Nicola, is that this bit is way too wordy at the moment. There's a whole lot of words, and I'm a really good litmus test because I'm lazy and I'm busy and I can't be asked to read it, right? So I think what I would do here is separate this out into chunks of text with a call to action underneath each one. So, for example, where we go, this first bit here, experiencing chronic stress, anxiety, self-doubt, and feelings of stuckness can feel like carrying a heavy bag on your back. Hell yeah, I bet. Are you feeling exhausted from continuous mental chatter or ruminating? Needs to be a question mark. Grammar police are in town. Maybe your body is feeling tired of the constant state of stress, replaying old hurts and feeling unhopeful of what's next. Are you struggling with low self-esteem? So embedded in this text is lots of related but specific issues that your hypnotherapy and coaching service can address. When you put them all together, it's quite a lot. So I think what I'd be doing is, especially for someone that's already anxious and overwhelmed, like I'm going to list all of your problems in one paragraph. Now let's separate it down a little bit. Let's break it down, because you've got an opportunity for marketing hooks within all of this stuff, Nicola. So for example, a mini headline here could be freedom from chronic stress headline. And then I help my clients reduce stress, reduce feelings of anxiety, and getting them unstuck. Want to know more? Click here, watch this video or whatever, right? And then we scroll down a little bit further. There's a second headline that says, are you a ruminator? Clients that I work with struggle because they've got continuous mental chatter and they're replaying the same stories in their head over and over again. That's tiring, isn't it? And I completely get it. I can help you with that. Book here, click here. So I think if I was in your shoes, I'd be taking this chunk of text and breaking it down into separate sections with its own mini headline, 2 or 3 sentences of text or some bullet points, and then a call to action underneath each one. Because one of those messages is going to grab somebody. So we need each one to pop. Because, you know, when we scan things in that sort of Z shape, we sort of look across the screen, Zing like this. As soon as I see, I'm not going to read the whole thing as a client. As soon as I see, I will, but later, not to start with. I'll tell you why in a sec. So as soon as I see the thing that grabs my attention, that's the bit that I'm going to focus in on. So if I needed some support with something, I'm looking for the keywords as a potential client. If I found your website, I'm going, what am I looking for here? I'm looking for decision making or low self-esteem or a constant state of stress or ruminating or replaying old stuff. Those are the keywords. So making it really, really easy for someone to spot when they're glancing, give them a little bit more information about to let them know that you totally get where they're coming from. And then your call to action is your 15-minute clarity call, which I think is excellent. That's what I say about the top of the outrageous free offer. I can have a 15-minute clarity call and I can get some help straight away and it doesn't cost me any money. Okay, like she seems to get my problems here. I'll try her out. But in my world, that would appear multiple times on a page, and you've got an opportunity to break out these individual issues, give them their own headline, give them a sentence or two so they know that you get it, and then a call to action. And that's going to make it easier for people to read, I think. And yeah, so that's my sort of headlines for the homepage. And then let's have a quick look on the services. It's really nicely laid out. Great stuff. Let's explore one. Yeah, this is nice. Okay, so that thing I was saying, like the people will read stuff, but not until you've hooked them in. They won't read lots of text straight away. So it's almost like you're giving them a few more breadcrumbs every time. You go, here's a few breadcrumbs, chew on this, click. Then that takes you through. If I am considering booking, that's when I'm going to want to read in more detail about what this is all about. But I've got to be I've got to be hooked in first before I'm not going to go straight to read lots of text. But I will if I'm invested. Okay, great stuff. And then a contact button. I think that the other thing I think that might be useful, that's just front of mind, that might be missing at the moment, Nicola, is social proof. So what I mean by that is if you can get a past client or someone that you're working with at the moment to give you a testimonial, a long testimonial is great, but don't rely on the long testimonial. So what I would do is you have a long testimonial that you put on each of the package pages. So when I'm reading all of the detail about the package, it's really nice to see a detailed testimonial or several testimonials on there. That will tip me over the edge. That will make me go, okay, this sounds really good. This person's got similar problems to the ones I've got, and Nicola really helped her. Wow, that testimonial is powerful. So have a longer testimonial on the booking page, and then I would take the most impactful sentence or few words, take it out of the testimonial and break up your text with big writing, inverted commas. Jane from Swindon said Nicola's the best hypnotherapist in the world because she cured my anxiety. So those real headline grabbers, have that throughout your site to break up the text, and have the more detailed version underneath each of the packages. That's it. That's my headlines for you, Nicola. Thank you for being patient with me. I know you asked about 4 years ago for me to look at your website. I'm glad we got there in the end. Great. You're welcome. Folks, it's that time. It's 12 minutes past 10. What do I need to tell you? 1, haven't you got homes to go to? 2, thank you for your effort and energy and patience. And I've seen a lot of love and care from you guys this evening. When I talk about a safe space, the fact that Annette and George shared what they did, and all of you have contributed in some way, and you've helped me and the Rebel team to hold that space. That's what I mean. That's what this stuff is all about, folks. And I'm so pumped and excited for that. But I'm also really touched by what's happened this evening. If you've been affected by any of the issues this evening, I don't want to sound like the BBC here, but I would like you to reach out and tell us, and I would like you to reach out and get help, get professional help if some of the issues that have come up this evening have been impactful for you in a negative way, because we've dealt with some big stuff tonight, haven't we? And this is why I'm so proud of the Rebel School, but also why I'm proud of you guys, because the courage that you're showing in showing up for yourselves and having a go at this thing called business, because you want to empower yourself and you want to support your families in different ways. This is what we do, why we do it, right? This is so important. This is so important. And I acknowledge all of you for the journey that you're on, because it ain't easy. If it was easy, how many people do you know with a business idea? Everyone and their cat's got a business idea, and they tell you, oh, you should do this and you should do that. But most people don't do it. But you guys are doing it. So I salute you. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Monday night, Alan and Katie Donegan are back, and boy, are they back. So you'll need a notepad for Monday. They're going to take you through a structured session, and it's going to blow some of your minds, and also some of you will be triggered. That's exciting, isn't it? So bring popcorn. See you on Monday night at 10 p.m, folks. And we've got the session on Tuesday for Rebel leaders that are interested in organizing meetups. That information is going to be in the support group, and I'll talk more about it on Monday. Thank you to everybody on YouTube that's joined us this evening. It's been intense, folks. See you on Monday night. Take care. Have a lovely weekend.